partner, 26F, of 7 years left me, 28M, at the altar and now wants me to take her back. My head is at a million places right now, so excuse my incoherency. My girlfriend, fiancé, ex-girlfriend, had been dating since she was 19 and I was 21. We've been through everything together. And basically grown up together. I've always known that when she really panics, she tends to run away from things. She used to randomly break up with me and try to dip when we were very young. But we talked it through and got better at that, and she hasn't done that for years now. Anyway, I proposed a year ago, and it was hardly a surprise. We'd been discussing marriage for years. We both knew we'd be on board to do this after she finished her MBA and got a job in my city. Everything was perfect. The past year has been very hectic in planning a wedding. Since we're both from another country where grand weddings are the norm and we had to fly people out, etc., etc. About 23 months ago, the nerves started to hit her and she tried to talk to me about it. I will acknowledge my faults here. She did try to bring it up to me that she was nervous. And the whole ordeal of a grand wedding was stressing her out. Ideally, she would have wanted a small destination wedding with a big party afterwards. But due to both of our families requesting a big wedding and inviting all their friends, we succumbed. She was also nervous about the commitment of marriage, finances, other things. All of this we had discussed before, but I guess she just needed reassurance. However, in hindsight, I realize now that every time she brought it up to me before that she was anxious. I chalked it up to the normal cold feet people get and would just say it'll be fine and brushed it off. I was also stressed with a lot of work to do before I took my long leave. And planning and budgeting and all of it. We both make very good money, but this wedding was going out of budget. And we didn't want to take any money from our parents. All of it got pretty stressful for both of us. She seemed a little jittery the night before as well. I told her to calm down and just sleep. Mostly I was very excited to make her my wife. Something I have been dreaming of since the day we started dating. She's the love of my life and it was still hard to believe she was choosing to marry me. I was the happiest man alive. On the day of the wedding, she dipped. She left me a note apologizing and saying she couldn't do all of this. And just ran. I don't even know where she went. All of it unfolded so quickly and it was almost like a movie. All our family members coming into my room while I was ready to walk out onto the altar, asking me where she was, etc., etc. Pretty traumatic, and I ended up crying in front of all my family and friends. Our parents handled the guests and all of it while I just went home. Heartbroken. She wasn't at home. I spent the entire day calling and texting her, and her phone was switched off. She walked in at night, at 10:11 p.m., and just kept crying and apologizing. I told her to just go sleep and I need time to think about everything that happened. Now I'm turning to Reddit because I don't know what to do anymore. She has apologized multiple times and wants me back and says she's even ready to do the whole grand wedding again, and she regrets having run away in a momentary lapse of judgment. She knows she wants to be with me, but she just panicked and got cold feet. I can't imagine my life without her, but at the same time my trust is broken. I don't understand why she couldn't just be more of an adult and tell me properly before the wedding. Although she insists she tried to. I feel disrespected and just heartbroken and embarrassed that I had to go through all of that. I don't know if I can or should forgive her. What if she does this again and runs at some other important event, like she did on the most important day of my life? Any advice or suggestions on how to proceed? If I can continue with this relationship or if I should just cut my losses and move on? Thank you for reading this far. Edit for some clarifications. Wow, okay, I did not expect to get these many responses on my post. And I have read through every single one of them. I appreciate all of you for taking out the time to read this and give me advice. There are some things I realize I should clarify or elaborate on based on the comments. Why she ran the first, don't think it was the marriage bit. Getting married was not going to change a lot about our relationship anyway. And I know she was just as excited about getting married as I was. I should mention that while both our parents wanted a grand wedding, mine were way more insistent on it than hers. Her parents would have been happy with whatever choice she was happy with, even a court marriage. Mine insisted on a bigger wedding as they believed if we had a small one it would make relatives and friends think we are poor. And she felt pressured to say yes because she wanted them to like her, and she knows how much I love my mom and didn't want me to have to choose. The financial bit, she makes much more money than me and she funded at least 7,080% of the wedding expenses. She offered and was happy to do so. If she hadn't offered that, my parents would have had to step in and fund it, which she wasn't comfortable with. The financial stress of it was getting to both of us, but probably more to her than me. We've discussed finances in depth, and I have financially supported her when she was doing her MBA. And both of us are comfortable with the fact that she earns a lot more now and will contribute more to our expenses. It's all hitting me now that she ended up burning so much money on a wedding she didn't want, just to make sure my parents didn't dislike her. The history of running away, she used to break up and dip from the relationship in the initial 23 years of our relationship. And after working on it that time, we've really managed to get over it. She hasn't suggested breaking up or wanting to run away for the past 34 years at least. I don't know if I'll be able to trust her because when she gets anxious she can't think about me like she didn't in this situation, and didn't consider the humiliation I had to go through. But I do trust her to not run away when we have kids or at other difficult points in life. I think. I am not really sure. It's all hard to process right now. Thank you so much for all your advice. I will be taking a few days away from her to think about all of it and then decide on the next steps. Although yes, therapy is a starting point for both of us individually at least. I would be worried given her history of running to avoid tough conversations. Nobody on Reddit can tell you what decision to make, but you can usually trust your gut and intuition. I am of the opinion that you can still love someone but not want to be with them, and it is a different kind of love. For me personally, I don't know if I could marry someone who treated me like that, or if I could trust them in the future. If you decide to resume your relationship with them, I would suggest couples counseling. Why would you ever stay with someone who always, when things get difficult, abandons you? There is no trust. She left you at the altar and you're on Reddit asking what to do. You say you don't trust her. So TBH, this relationship is over. She humiliated you in front of all your family and friends. And now she says she are ready for the big wedding? After she just wasted all the time and money spent on the first one? You would be a fool to just forget this and take her back. She has a history of randomly breaking up with you. She left you at the altar. She will run again. She has proven to you time and time again that when things get tough, she will leave you. 7 years of relationship. Wow. I have no idea how your relationship dynamics are. But was there going to be a huge change after the wedding other than the title, husband and wife? Did you already live together? Honestly, I would break up. She left you at the altar in front of who knows how many people. She wasn't thinking about you, your feelings, or your future together. And I know the monetary value is not really important. But oh my god, all that money completely wasted. TBH. If there's a chance to recover from this and not be resentful 10 years down the road as couples therapy, good luck. She humiliated you in front of all your family and friends as well as hers. It's gonna take more than a few sorries and some tears to forgive. If she was so overwhelmed or didn't want the big wedding, she needed to put on her big girl pants and demand what she wanted and not go along with whatever both your families wanted. You've spent a lot of money you will not get back on something that amounted to nothing but humiliation and pain. Think very carefully, as she is likely to do this again. What happens if you have a kid and she gets overwhelmed and just leaves the kid while you're not around? I think you just dodged a massive bullet, man. If she got cold feet marrying you, it didn't come from the wedding pressure. It came from a place where she doesn't want to agree to vows. Break up with her. Take your time. You'll be fine. You need to leave. She'll keep doing this to you, and if you get kids, think the damage she will cause them. She will do this all the time, and you need someone reliable and trustworthy, and that is not her. If you like being played a fool and being with someone you don't trust, take her back. If you have any self-respect, don't. She will abandon you again, and next could be when you have an accident or financial troubles or cancer. She isn't a partner. Leave her. You are better off alone and finding a woman who will appreciate you. So I think you are doing a great job of reviewing your own behavior and how communication maybe wasn't great both ways. But she is an adult, and you need a partner in life that can communicate effectively and you can trust. And she isn't it. I can appreciate all the pressure she was under and the number of times she agreed to something to make other people happy. But you need to look at it this way. Your partner couldn't put her foot down or clearly express that she wasn't ready or happy or whatever. She wasted a lot of money, a lot of your time, and the time and money of all the people who traveled to the wedding. She embarrassed you in front of your entire family and traumatized you by leaving on the biggest day of your shared lives. There's no excuse for that. No excuse for an adult woman who is only being pressured with basic life stuff. AKA, family want a big wedding as opposed to financial blackmail or a controlling family to do what she did. Most importantly, you can't trust her. If you want children, will she dip on them? Think of all the pressures of life: money, illness, family disagreements, moving for a job, child with behavior issues or a disability that could come up. And some of them will. You can't trust her to be honest, and you can't trust her to stick around. And her saying she will even do the big wedding demonstrates she actually doesn't understand herself. She isn't coming back saying that she sorted herself out and has learned, has new standards, or even something like she will no longer be pressured to do stuff for others. At least that would be honest and demonstrate she has processed what happened and her own role in it and what she needs to move forward. She has gone right back to the behavior that made her run in the first place. Most people will tell you to leave her, and that's fair. We get a very limited picture from these posts, and usually only see the bad. But if you're coming here for advice, it's not that easy. So, instead, I'll speak to the other option. Yes, there was a ton of pressure. And yes, she tried to tell you. And yes, you both still love each other. But a betrayal like that can't just be fixed with an apology. If this relationship is going to continue, she needs to work a lot harder to regain your trust. An apology to your families might be a start. But she has some serious commitment issues and she needs to work on that. Ideally with a professional. She has to be able to set boundaries and communicate clearly when things are too much. Clearly the grand, constantly expanding wedding was too much. And she knew it, but she couldn't outright say it. Her coming back and immediately promising to do it again is not a great sign if it was too much pressure when everyone was happy and supportive. It will be way worse the second go-round. But despite having just suffered the consequences of failing to set that boundary, she's repeating the same mistake. So if you decide to take her back, there need to be some conditions. Among those should probably be 1. She apologizes to your families. Who cleaned up the mess when she ran? 2. She starts going to therapy. And maybe you both do couples sessions as well, to sort through the communications issues. And 3. She tells you immediately when things get overwhelming, rather than running. If she feels the need to run, she shouldn't have to run from you. Also, if it does work out, don't do a big wedding again. Neither of you want it. You'll be much happier avoiding all that. And your family can throw you a party after if they'd like. All that said, if you want to work on this, it's not going to be an easy path. She'll struggle, and may ultimately fail. You may find you just can't trust her again. And there's no way forward for you if that happens. But you're both young, and can find happiness again elsewhere. You don't have to keep giving everything to make this work. It's okay to just walk away. Either way, I think it's fair to tell her you need some time and space to think it over. Maybe see a therapist yourself if you can. Talk to family, friends, people in your life that know you both. Don't rush yourself into this choice. Self-respect. Have it. Don't let someone like this back into your life. You're stuck in a rut because you were with her for 7 years. That's why you can't see yourself without her. Her running off is a sign that her priority is herself and you don't matter. The least she could do is pay you back for the wedding expenses. Your humiliation? She can never compensate enough for that. My trust is broken. This is the only thing that matters. If you can't trust somebody, and you can't rely on them, then they will never fully be a partner. And you should never tie yourself to them for life. Walk away. First of all, I'm so sorry you had to go through this. It's such a heartbreaking experience to have your trust in your closest person broken like that. I just want to say that if you choose to stay with her, couples and individual therapy is a must for you both. The betrayal and humiliation from the person who should love you the most would make it impossible for me to take her back. You deserve better. Please update us. I wish you all the best. Hopefully with someone that doesn't do this to you. I would have checked her phone. Weren't your friends and family at the wedding? Who was she with for a day? If you take her back, she will run every time something big happens. You will constantly be trying to avoid anything that might make her run when she should be by your side supporting you and vice versa. You need to take some time away from her to decide what you want to do. I would tell her you need at least a month and see to achieve this, plus this will either help her to see what she has done. It will be hard on her, but this will also help her to see what her actions have caused, and hopefully she will grow from it. Good luck. She has a history of emotional instability which surfaces as abuse to you. Love is not a solid reason to tolerate abuse. Please seek therapy for yourself with respect to your low self-worth. Life and marriage and kids is going to be much more emotional than these recent stressor issues. The most important thing you'll do for your future kids is who you select as their parent. This woman is mentally ill and not able to function as a parent. She has failed the life partner test. Have some self-respect. To be honest, it sounds like she needs some serious therapy before making any additional commitments, like getting back together or getting married. Her reaction to stress is immature and lacking in self-control, which are traits that don't align with taking vows and dedicating yourself to another person. I think you need some therapy too after such a traumatic experience. Don't rush back into being together. You have time, and it's worth taking a step back to reevaluate. The thing is, having a wedding is certainly not the most stressful situation you'll face in a marriage, and having a partner who will run away at times of high pressure is just not workable. What if, God forbid, you got a terrible diagnosis? Or lost your jobs? Had a home burned down? Not to mention the entire adventure of having kids if that's in your plans for the future. Will you ever be able to trust honestly that the next stressful hurdle won't leave you standing alone and abandoned again?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.